Remember that a booklet has to be created in signatures of 4. So that's why the minimum is 8. And when I say a signature of 4, if we take a look at this sheet here, which is one of the printouts, I have front, back, inside front cover, inside back cover, 4 pages, right? Because we're setting our documents up as an 8.5 by 11 document, but it's got facing pages. So what it's giving us is, our 8.5, when we get to a spread, 2 up on a side. Basically, it takes 2 8.5 by 11s and puts them together. But, so basically, every book is based upon signatures of 4. When we print it, basically 4 pages are going to print to one sheet, front and back. 2 pages on one side, 2 pages on the other. So, which we've all probably seen, but for the sake of completeness, just want to make sure I cover everything. Your documents do need to have page numbers on them, properly created page numbers through a parent page. This particular document puts the page numbers in the corners, and then she actually included the headings, on the parent page as well, so they were always in the same spot. And then if we go through and look, all of our page numbers and everything are in the right spot. So you're going to set your documents up as an 8.5 by 11 document with facing pages. And like I said, this one's a 12-page book because she needed more than just the 8. Basically, an 8-page book will come out to 2. Whenever you print it, it'll print to 2 sheets, front and back. 12-page book will be 3 sheets, front and back. If you need to go to 16, that's 4 sheets, front and back. All right? So, always in signatures of 4, whatever you do. So you don't have, 8 isn't enough for you, then you've got to make a decision. You either need to adjust your layout to fit to 8, or you need to add 4 more pages and adjust your layout to utilize all of them, because you don't want blank pages. Every page should be filled, should have something on it. And I do think our front and back covers should be strictly that. There should be no real document content on them. The front and back covers are required to have the class name, your name, the semester, and the project name. So basically our front and back covers should be relatively clean. They don't have to be identical like this. You can handle the back cover any way you want. It's just, this was her design, so. And I guess my point is, you really shouldn't be putting Project 6 on the back cover of your document, all right? That's generally not a proper way to do it. I've seen lots of people do it that way. It's really not a proper way to do it at all right? So, keep that in mind when we're talking about the number of pages that we need. It also has to have a table of contents. Keep that in mind. So your inside front cover is going to be your table of contents. And did I show you how to do a table of contents the InDesign way? All right, I will show you again how to do that. If I forget. If I didn't, then I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. It's a simple process. But in order to create a proper table of contents through InDesign, you've got to have page numbers put onto your pages, and you've got to be using style sheets to create your primary headlines. So, but I'll run through that again too, after I do this. So it does need to have a table of contents. That'll always go on the inside front cover, all right? So how do we print this thing? InDesign, under the File menu, all the way at the very bottom, has an option to print a booklet, all right? So we're going to select that, and we get a non-traditional looking print dialog that comes up. So almost nothing's going to be done on this dialog itself. We're going to go into print settings to do almost everything, but I do want to take a quick look at my preview and make sure that this is just an initial look to make sure that my front and my back cover are actually where they're supposed to be. It's just sort of a check, all right? So, take a quick look at that. All right, so now I'm just going to go to print settings. So go into print settings, and the first thing we need to do is select our printer, which you'll select whichever printer is listed in yours for the color, for the 151 color printer. Mine has the IP address on it for some reason. I don't think everybody's does, but you'll select your printer. The PPD should be the Xerox EXI C9065. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to go to the Setup tab. And I need to do a couple of things here. So when we print these out, we want to make sure that when we print them out, they have crop marks on them and our bleed is indicated. So we got to make sure those print. It's an 11 by 17 book, but the addition of our crop marks and whatnot and our bleed make the sheet size larger than that. All right. So with bleed and with crop marks, we need to actually select a paper size, tabloid oversize. And basically it's a 12 by 18 sheet of paper. The printer, the color printer in 151 does not have this sheet in it by default. It goes in the bypass tray. So when you go to print these, you should probably just go down to 151 when you do it. You need to make sure you let the print person know that you need to print to a tabloid oversized sheet so that they can put it in. Otherwise, it'll throw an error and it may print to an 11 by 17 tab sheet, but it won't be right because it'll leave half your crop marks off. So you need to print it to tabloid oversize. And I'm going to come down to orientation, and I'm going to actually change I got to change the orientation of the page to this second one. And then I need to go down to my page position and change the page position from upper left to centered. So it's select our color printer, tabloid oversize, page position needs to be centered. Center will make sure that it actually prints it square in the middle of the sheet and not to the upper left or the upper right. You want it to be in the middle of the sheet so that, actually technically so you have options of the ways how to trim it, but I'm going to recommend you do it one particular way. So we do that under setup, and under marks and bleeds, I'm just going to go in here and all I'm going to check is crop marks so we don't confuse ourselves. There's no need to print the bleed marks. But we do need to make sure that we use our document bleed settings so that the bleed goes beyond the size of the digital page, all right? So it's crop marks, and make sure you check bleed and slug. And that's all you need to do from this window. So now I'm going to go down to printer, and this will look familiar to you from whenever we printed our cell sheets. Go into print. We're going to ignore everything except go down to printer options, open it up and select fiery features. And we want to make sure that on paper source we select tray 5 bypass. And under duplex, we select top to top. I'll say OK. We're going to say print. And then here, I'm going to say OK. Check our preview, and it should look like this now because it's a tab extra sheet with the back cover and the front cover. And when this looks good, and there should be no warnings at all here on this in this area, and there shouldn't. I doubt that there will be. I mean, if you've followed all these steps, then you just say print, and it'll print out your sheets the way you need them. All right. One thing to warn about this, and I'm actually not going to hit print here because I already did my printing. So I'm just going to say cancel. But I did notice the other day, and I have seen this on other color printers before, Fires before, and I got no idea why it is, and they don't have any reason either. But I've seen this other places. When I went and did my demo, printed my stuff for this demo Monday, I was the first one in there and the first one to print. And the sheet that I just sent around, if you noticed, they were up, each of the sides was oriented wrong. For some odd reason, it printed the second side upside down. When I printed it the second time, everything was just fine. So I don't know why that is. And I made sure I mentioned it to them. That they said they hadn't seen it, but I've seen it before out of InDesign. I've seen it as long ago as 8 years. So I don't know why it is. It's just something with the Fiery software. But the second time through, it will print out right. So if it makes you feel better, maybe you print just a single sample sheet first, something, just to make sure that you've got things oriented right, like one page, before you print all of them. But if it does that, they shouldn't charge you for it. So as long as you select that top to top, it should print it right. Okay. So that's the process of printing it. I did put together a cheat sheet on this as well, and I'll post this video up so you can refer back to it and you can look at it. But the second thing I just want to do is take all of my fun stuff here and run down to 151 and show you how to stitch these together. So, because we're making a finished booklet. So, if you want to pop up, and we will. Make like a train and go down there.